Since the announcement of 50 Cent's new documentary, the situation around him has reportedly become even more intense. According to the narrative presented in the video, people connected to past violence and long-running industry feuds are now speaking out, and some are allegedly naming celebrities who may have wanted Curtis Jackson harmed. The story centers on leaks, threats, and buried secrets that, if true, could send shockwaves through hip-hop. To understand why 50 Cent continues to attract this level of hostility, you have to understand what he survived. In May 2000, Jackson was shot outside his grandmother's former home in South Jamaica, Queens. A gunman approached and fired multiple times at close range, leaving him with serious injuries to his legs, hand, chest, and face. That attack became one of the defining moments of his life and career. Over the years, reports and court-related claims tied the shooting to powerful street figures, including Kenneth Supreme McGriff. The motive was said to be connected to 50 Cent's song, Ghetto Quran, which referenced street activity and allegedly named people who did not want to be mentioned. Whether viewed as reckless, fearless, or both, that moment helped create the image of 50 Cent as someone willing to say what others would not. Further claims later surfaced in legal documents and affidavits suggesting links between major street figures and members of the music industry. Those claims have long fed the belief that the line between rap business and street violence was dangerously thin during that era. The shooting of 50 Cent, the murder of Jam Master Jay, and the names that kept appearing around both stories helped build an atmosphere of suspicion that never truly disappeared. After the shooting, 50 Cent has said the industry largely turned its back on him. Labels stopped returning calls, and Columbia Records dropped him. Instead of disappearing, he rebuilt himself through mixtapes. His 2002 project Guess Who's Back eventually caught the attention of Eminem, who helped bring him to Shady Records. From there, 50's rise became one of the biggest comeback stories in rap history. His debut album Get Rich or Die Tryin' turned personal trauma into commercial dominance. Tracks like Many Men, Wish Death made his survival part of his mythology. He didn't just rap about danger, he had lived through it. That gave him a kind of credibility few artists could match, and he used that credibility to build a larger-than-life persona that mixed menace, humor, and relentless provocation. According to the script in the video, that same mentality still drives him today. The argument is that 50 Cent no longer turns street stories into songs alone. He now turns them into documentaries, crime series, and prestige streaming content. In that version of events, his media empire has become a new weapon, not bullets, but exposure. The video points to his documentary work as evidence of that shift. It mentions projects connected to crime, hip-hop violence, and high-profile public figures. The claim is that 50 Cent is not casually experimenting with documentary filmmaking. He is building a machine around stories that many people would rather keep hidden. That includes gang rivalries, music industry controversies, homicide cases, and the alleged criminal connections surrounding major names. One of the key examples raised is the Netflix project about Sean Combs, which the script presents as a major success. According to the video, the series drew huge viewership and proved that audiences are deeply interested in behind-the-scenes stories involving powerful hip-hop figures. In that telling, the success of one documentary increases the threat level of every project that follows. The script also references another announced project called Gang Wars, described as a look into some of America's most infamous gang rivalries. The larger point the video tries to make is that 50 Cent is now publicly revisiting the kind of networks, rivalries, and criminal ecosystems that once put him in danger. From that perspective, every new announcement has the potential to stir fear among people who believe they could be exposed next. The video then shifts to the idea that some of the same people once linked to attempts on 50 Cent's life are now talking. Whether that means former associates, insiders, or people close to old crews, the suggestion is that fear and pressure are making people open up. If someone believes their side of the story is about to be put on screen, they may decide to talk first. A major section of the transcript focuses on the long-running feud involving 50 Cent, G-Unit, and music executive Jimmy "Henchman" Rosemond. According to the account presented, that conflict intensified after 50 publicly distanced himself from the game in 2005. Because the game was being managed by Rosemond at the time, tensions reportedly exploded and led to threats, violence, and retaliation over the years. The script describes later incidents involving members of G-Unit and Roseman's circle, eventually framing the feud as something prosecutors later characterized in far more serious terms. Tony Yeo is quoted in the video as describing a moment during the filming of I'll Still Kill when armed men allegedly appeared at the set. According to that retelling, both sides were prepared, and a hit allegedly failed after a gun malfunctioned. Whether every detail is accepted or disputed, the significance of the story is clear. In the world presented by the video, these were not just rap beefs. These were conflicts where real people allegedly showed up armed, and where grudges moved beyond music and into life-or-death territory. The script uses that history to argue that 50 Cent operates under a level of threat most entertainers could never understand. It also revisits Roseman's later federal convictions, including charges related to narcotics trafficking and murder for hire. In the context of the script, those convictions serve a larger narrative purpose. They are meant to show that when 50 tells stories about industry violence, he is drawing from real episodes that were later examined in courtrooms, not just studio rumors or rap mythology. From there, the script expands its lens and paints 50 Cent as someone who has spent decades collecting enemies. It lists artists, executives, media personalities, and street figures who have clashed with him in one way or another. The argument is that most people would be overwhelmed by that many conflicts, but 50 has instead used them as fuel, content, and branding. The Ja Rule and Murder Incorporated feud is presented as the original template. The video recounts the long dispute, including claims about a stolen chain, fights in Atlanta, the stabbing at the Hit Factory, and the widely discussed belief that people connected to Murder Incorporated and street power players were tied to the atmosphere surrounding the later shooting. The broader point is that this rivalry helped define 50's identity. In the story being told, 50 Cent took real-world violence and turned it into cultural power. He transformed survival into marketing, conflict into hit records, and enemies into recurring characters in his public narrative. First, the platform was music. Then it became television. Now, according to the video, it has become documentary storytelling on a massive scale. The transcript also emphasizes that 50 continues to revisit old rivalries even years later. It references his mocking comments about Irv Gotti and argues that he rarely lets anything go. In this version of events, he does not simply feud. He runs long campaigns of ridicule, pressure, and narrative control. He trolls, provokes, documents, and waits for the right moment to strike again. That brings the script into the more recent conflict involving T.I. According to the video, tensions between the two stretch back to 2007, when 50 accused T.I. of cooperating with authorities after a gun case and plea deal. Though things reportedly cooled off at times, the feud never fully disappeared. It simply waited for a new spark. The transcript says that spark came when T.I. discussed the idea of a versus battle and publicly suggested that 50 Cent had avoided it. Rather than responding musically, 50 allegedly responded through implication and image, by posting, then deleting, a headline suggesting he was developing a documentary about T.I. and Tiny. In the script's telling, that was more than trolling. It was strategic pressure. The video then ties that moment to long-standing allegations that had previously been made against T.I. and Tiny by multiple accusers. It notes that they denied those accusations and that legal complications, including statutes of limitation and defamation litigation, formed part of the background. Importantly, the script suggests that even the idea of a documentary was enough to shift public attention back onto those allegations, regardless of whether a project was actively moving forward. That is presented as 50 Cent's modern playbook. He doesn't always need to release the documentary right away. Sometimes the threat of exposure alone is enough to create panic, trigger defensive responses, and derail someone else's momentum. In the age of viral media, the possibility of public scrutiny can be nearly as powerful as the final product itself. The transcript says T.I. responded by trying to confront the issue directly, but by then the conversation had already changed. What may have started as talk about music and competition had turned into discussion about serious allegations, legal history, and image management. According to the video, that is exactly how 50 likes it. He shifts the battlefield. The script also notes that the situation became even more personal when T.I.'s son, King Harris, allegedly entered the feud with highly disrespectful comments aimed at 50 Cent's late mother. The transcript describes this as a turning point that made the conflict uglier and more emotional. Even T.I., according to the script, reportedly acknowledged that some lines had been crossed. That example is used to support one of the central claims of the video. When 50 Cent announces or hints at a documentary, he does not just rattle one person. He destabilizes everyone around them. Their relatives, their business partners, their publicists, their legal teams, and the loyalists who feel the need to defend them. In that sense, a documentary threat becomes something bigger than media. T becomes disruption. The transcript repeatedly returns to the same theme. 50 Cent is no longer just a rapper with a talent for insults. He is a media mogul who understands that stories can be monetized and weaponized at the same time. Every new documentary, every crime series, and every vague Instagram post has the potential to put pressure on people who thought old secrets were safely buried. The script argues that this is why insiders are allegedly starting to talk. If they believe their names, crews, or operations could be exposed in a streaming documentary or prestige crime series, silence may no longer feel safe. Some may decide that getting ahead of the story is smarter than waiting to be featured in it. In the video's framing, that is where the snitching begins. It also connects this idea to 50's past success. The argument is that he has already shown he can go quiet for a while, let people think the feud is over, and then return with a new project that reopens everything. His silence, in that interpretation, is never surrender. It is staging. It is preparation. By the end, the script paints a broad picture of a man who survived 9 bullets, survived industry blacklisting, survived old enemies, and then reinvented himself as one of the most dangerous storytellers in hip-hop media. Not dangerous in the traditional sense, the video suggests, but dangerous because he can reach millions, frame the conversation, and make powerful people feel exposed. That is why, according to the transcript, the stakes around his documentary announcements feel so high. Some people respond with lawsuits. Some respond with diss tracks. Some react emotionally online. And some, the video implies, may resort to far darker methods when they feel cornered. Whether that fear is justified or exaggerated, it is the atmosphere the script wants the audience to feel. In the end, the story being told is less about one documentary and more about a pattern. 50 Cent survives conflict, UDs it, repackages it, and profits from it. His enemies know that. His audience knows that. And if the video is to be believed, the people around those old conflicts know it too. That is why every announcement lands like a warning shot. The final message of the transcript is that 50 Cent has built an empire out of surviving what was supposed to destroy him. He has turned pain into image, image into business, and business into power. Whether people love him, fear him, or hate him, the video argues that they all understand one thing. When 50 starts pointing cameras at old stories, a lot of people get nervous.